Hi everyone, I'm Kelly Wilhite, and I want to help you learn about how to make healthier selections when it comes to processed foods. We'll talk specifically about packaging lingo in this video, but we'll have two more videos to this three-part series about this topic so that I can help you understand many components that are important when making packaged food choices. There's so many packaged food selections available that making healthy choices can be very overwhelming. Of course, eating whole foods made from homemade, when you have complete control over the ingredients and the cooking methods, is always best. But let's be realistic, that's typically not realistic 100% of the time. But if you can shoot for 80%, that'd be fantastic. There may not always be a perfectly healthy solution when purchasing packaged food and drink. However, in many cases, there will likely be a healthier alternative compared to all the variable selections. Now, understanding three key components of interpreting packaged food products will go, or drink products will go a long way in making healthier food choices. The three components are packaging lingo, the nutrition label, and the ingredient list. There's a lot to each of these, so I'm going to do a video series for this. In this video, I'm going to help you discover, as I mentioned, more about packaging lingo. And when I say packaging lingo, I'm talking about terms such as, let's see, I have some products here. Well, organic, non-GMO, gluten-free, natural. Here's one, I think, well, this says Nature Valley, so sometimes that can be assumed as being healthy, and it's not. Things that say healthy or healthy choice in the actual brand, whole grain, pure, sugar-free, can help lower cholesterol, plant-based, heart healthy, original antioxidants, and so much more on the package. Please know that these do not automatically equate to healthy, even when they say healthy. The fact is that much, not all, but much of the package lingo cannot be trusted, and I want you to be informed well as you make your choices. Most packaging lingo is for marketing and to influence you to buy it, and sometimes even distract you from what is not healthy. So don't be fooled. Things like organic, non-GMO, gluten-free, or plant-based are pretty straightforward and do provide pretty straightforward information. However, for terms such as natural or all natural, for food and drink packaging, the FDA does not have a formal definition for these terms, so there's no certification around them, and they can be used very loosely. Another piece of information is organic and non-GMO. Many get confused over the difference. It's important to know that when something is labeled organic, it is also considered non-GMO. But when something is labeled non-GMO, that does not mean it is organic. And there are various references regarding organic, such as made with organic ingredients. So use this information to stir you to dig deeper to understand more, since I won't be able to cover everything in this video. Another package label term is whole grain, and here I have an item. It says, it says stone grain whole wheat. Even gluten-free ones, when it says whole grain means it is made up of the three parts, and three parts are what is contained in a grain. There are also three different varieties of a whole grain stamp, for instance, which is becoming more popular on packages. Let's see if this one has the whole grain stamp. Actually, it does. It has a whole grain stamp here. It's kind of small. I'm not sure if you can see it. It may be a basic stamp, which means 50% or less of whole grain, or one that includes 50% whole grain or 100% whole grain, which those would be self-explanatory. Now, refined grains are those that have just one of the three parts of a whole grain. Now, when a grain is refined, about 25% of the protein is removed, and about 50% or more of essential nutrients are gone. Now, another key thing to understand is when it comes to whole grain flour. So for instance, in this product, this says stone ground whole wheat flour. Now, when it says whole grain flour, we cannot automatically assume it means whole grain. Once a whole grain is processed into flour, it behaves in our body just like sugar, and then being processed like an processed whole grain. So we also want to understand how our body processes something and not just the form it was in when we consumed it. Now, another question I get is, what is the difference between enriched and fortified? You might see a number of packages that say enriched or fortified. And enrichment means that the nutrients are added back that were removed in the refining process. However, fewer than a half dozen of those missing nutrients are added when refining them. In addition, the nutrients are added in different proportions than what they originated in the whole grain. Now, fortification means that nutrients are added in that do not naturally occur in the original food. You'll see that a number of times with vitamin D. Vitamin D is added to especially dairy products and things, as it wasn't necessarily even actually in the original food. Of course, having nutrients added in can make it better than not at all, right? But it is still not the same or nearly as beneficial as getting the nutrients from the whole food. Now, other packaging lingo that I get a lot of questions about relates to animal products. For the animal protein category, I lump anything from meats, dairy, poultry, their eggs, and fish and seafood. All of that I just lump into the animal protein category when I talk about it. I see a lot of animal protein these days being labeled natural. We've already gone over that, so when it comes to animal protein, don't fall for that. When it comes to organic, however, that is regulated, so we should be able to trust that with the organic stamp or organic certification label on it. When it comes to animal protein and says organic, it means the source was given no antibiotics or growth hormones, and the animal feed itself also was also organic. Oh, and when we see poultry indicated as vegetarian fed or no hormones, well, that's just another marketing ploy. The fact is that chickens and turkey are not just plant-based. Their natural diet, which is always best when they're pasture raised and they're eating their natural diet, includes bugs and insects. So that vegetarian fed is just, again, a marketing ploy. And regarding the hormones, the US bans hormones from being given to poultry. So when it says no hormones, it's just confirming what it's already supposed to be anyway. Now, when it comes to animal protein, we also want to pay attention to how the animals are raised and what they eat. Because this is key to the health of the animal. When we consume it, it is impacting our health too. So it's very important. I'm going to go over some other popular terms so you can make healthful, informed decisions when you're buying your animal protein or items that contain animal protein. So let's talk about grass-fed and pasture-raised. This applies to meats and dairy from them, and their diet has consisted of the natural pasture grass for most of their life. This is a very healthy choice, but remember, the animal can also be finished, means being before slaughter, with a diet consisting of grains. So if that is the case, buying organic grass-fed or pasture-raised is best, with the absolute best being grass-finished, though that is more difficult to find. Now, when it says cage-free, free-range, and pasture-raised, which usually applies to dairy and eggs, don't let cage-free or free-range fool you. We don't have enough time to get into the details, but in those cases, the poultry still has very little room to roam. Pasture-raised is best, with the absolute best being organic pasture-raised. Wild-caught applies to fish and seafood. This is a little bit easier to keep simple. It's either wild-caught or farm-raised, and the wild-caught choice is best. If you have any questions or would like some help, please reach out. I would love to hear from you. Until next time, God bless you and enjoy.